Hello and welcome to my channel, Spiritual Gina, where I encourage you to live from your soul. My name is Gina. First, a welcome back is in order. I have not posted to this YouTube channel in more than a year, so it's been quite a while, but it's been my intention to kind of get back into the swing of YouTube and making more long form content, more talking podcast style type things. I'm going to have a podcast called North the Diaries, which I may or may not rename, who knows. But yeah, I just wanted to post to YouTube again, basically. And I meant to do something a little bit earlier, and I ended up falling asleep. And it was a great nap, but of course, I wanted to get this done, so I am currently driving. I'm a very good driver, don't worry about me. But yeah, so wow, it just feels really good to be talking into a mic again. Even if it's not in the way that I wanted it to be, which is like kind of sitting in the park and recording. So yeah, I hope you guys have been well. If you're listening, to leave a comment down below, and maybe we can play a little bit of catch up. But yeah, so I kind of wanted to talk about the 8-8 portal. I've been seeing, and this is kind of like random topics, and so I don't know exactly what I'm going to talk about yet, but I know I want to talk about this. So yeah, the 8-8 portal. The girls online have been going insane. Not insane, that's not the right word. Kind of like they've been having a lot of opinions either way you look at it. So in one camp, we have people who like really, really disagree that it's even a portal, and that we're giving our power away to the Gregorian system, and we're tapping into false matrices, and this is how we keep our souls stuck and things like that. And then we also have the other girls who are, and women. Okay, I'm not gonna be like weird or I'm not downgrading anyone, by the way. When I say girl, it's just like a girl's girl, like things like that. It's just the way that we talk now. I should stop doing that actually. But anyways, then we have the camp where it's more of a spiritual day, and you look into the energies and blah blah blah. I'm just like feeling more so of an energetic surge. Um, and so I personally have no dog in either camp. Are we shocked or are we shocked? But from my experience, my take on this is that, and this is really early in this recording, by the way, less than 3 minutes in, but we're already getting my stance. I don't care personally because Leo is currently transiting my eighth house. Now, what does this mean? It's basically meaning that Leo is interacting with a very scorpionic, as a Scorpio, by the way, I'm a Scorpio stellium in the 11th house. But the sun is currently transiting the house of Scorpio in my personal natal chart. And so basically what that means is I'm already dealing with more like dramatic, depthy, like really just intense themes around the month of August. And so it's a really big energetic soup for me. And I don't want to say I can't discern the difference, but to some degree, I just can't tell the difference between if it would be the 8-8 portal or my natural transit, because having the sun transiting the eighth house is going to be naturally dramatic. It's going to be a lot of things that pertain to the energies of Scorpio. And we know that Scorpio is intense. We know that Scorpio is about death. We know Scorpio is about transformation. And so the sun is there in my chart, and that's kind of what the 8-8 portal signifies. So if you're understanding what I'm saying, it's like the energy is already intense for me, and it has always been intense. Actually, it's been around, I think, 2 years since I've noticed that around August, so around Leo season, is when life just gets kind of weird for me. And so I've known this and I've experienced this uh throughout my lifetime, and so I've come into more so of a understanding recently. And so, yeah, like I said, I just don't have a dog in the fight because for me personally, it's always been a very, not challenging isn't the right word. It's always been energetically it's always been an energetically sensitive time for me. And so I just don't have anything to really say about it because the sun is transiting my eighth house, and if you are into astrology by any degree, then you know what that means. And I guess that kind of segues into, so what about the other portal dates? I mean, when you get into portal dates, you're talking about numerology, and I do believe in numerology to a certain extent because a lot of the I believe that nature is also expressed in mathematics, basically. Then when we're talking about calendar dates, then you have an overlaid matrix of the Gregorian calendar. And so it is a little bit more tough for me to jive with portal dates and things like that. But overall, I just go by what's happening, what's energetically popping, what's feeling. And for me personally, it's already an intense time for me due to the transit happening in my eighth. So I just personally, excuse me, I woke up with a bit of stuffy nose, but personally, I just don't really differentiate between the natal transit and the portal date. So that doesn't help you because you probably don't have the sun transit in your eighth house. So, and by the way, my eighth house is actually in Leo, so that's why it's even more intense. I mean, that's why it's transiting my eighth house, but my eighth house is in Leo, and it has my north node there. And in the Placidus chart, it also has my Mars. So, yeah, there's that. All right, and so kind of like, Gina, where have you been? Another topic. Girl, I've been meditating. I've been getting my core offers with Spiritual Gina together, and I think I finally have something that I really resonate with. Two some things I really resonate with, just have to really polish them up and finish doing like the little things for them. Um, but yeah, that's kind of where I've been. Just taking things day by day, meditation session by meditation session. Some people champion vulnerability, and I feel that to a certain degree you should be vulnerable with your audience, and I also feel that there are sacred boundaries, and so really nothing too major has happened over here. And if something major did happen, you probably wouldn't hear about it until I had transmuted it. So so yeah, and yeah. So I guess the one topic I also want to talk about was how a lot of my focus has shifted towards psychic development and um energetic field reclamation. So that's what a lot of my um my meditation sessions has been about. And yeah, so currently I have arrived to the store, so I'm gonna go ahead and go inside because I did park, but I want to go ahead and go inside, and then I will come back out and finish out this catch up. Right? Okay, I'm back from shopping. Got the things that I needed to make my meals for the week. And yeah, so the store was actually a little bit more busy than what I would think. And yeah, I personally delay shopping um until it's late at nighttime so I can deal with less people, less crowds. If you're energetically sensitive, you already know what the deal is. But it was really busy there tonight. I mean, or at least more busy than what you would think for shopping at nighttime. But yeah, how do you handle crowds as a spiritually sensitive individual? I would love to know. Me personally, not gonna lie, I avoid them. And yeah, and I also was pretty thirsty. And that's kind of why also I stopped the recording. And unfortunately, they did not have the brand of water that I usually buy, so I'm gonna have to possibly get up super early and go tomorrow and see what's up, or I'm just not quite sure how I'm gonna handle that. But yeah, so I forget what we were talking about, but we can kind of move on into the next topic. Give me Jeffrey, because this turn is difficult. Um, but yeah, we were talking about, I think, just the energetic reality of certain things or something like that. I know we were talking about the 8-8 portal. Oh, that's what I want to talk about. Okay, yeah. So sorry, recentering, because it's difficult going from, at least for me, transitioning is difficult. But I wanted to talk about the Jasmine Gardens little, I guess it was like one person versus 20, and it was like Christians versus, a more eclectic spiritual viewpoint. So first, this, I'm hesitant to say this, but I personally don't really watch or listen to many spiritualists, and I don't know what Jasmine Gardens considers herself to be. She probably would never hear this. It doesn't really matter. But I just don't watch her content. I don't really like her content. She's a little bit too like spicy for me, quite frankly. But it was just so interesting seeing some of the clips and her talking to the Christians, and it just kind of for me speaks to the reality that when you are on two different frequencies, when you have two different belief systems, there is seldom much you can do to have a productive conversation around differing viewpoints. And it was just so interesting. And, coming from someone that was like as Christian as you could get growing up, it's just a different reality that spiritualists live in. And I never want to find myself in a position to where I'm like, I never want to find myself in a position to where I'm having any type of debate about what I believe in, because it's so eclectic, it's so niche to my personal experiences. And yeah, I don't know. For me, Christians, and some of the comments were like, oh, well, we only feel this way about Christians and blah, 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 blah. And I don't know, it's just, Christianity is the one religion where it just like attracts very specific individuals. And it's just, um, I don't want to say sad. It's just, what we saw is what you would expect from the average typical Christian. And it's so funny. It's so funny because I was thinking about someone that I had briefly had contact with, and she was actually a Christian, and I'm like, is it even a good idea for us to be, in relationship when our core beliefs are so different? And the answer is no, in my opinion. Like, I mean, it's, I don't want to say it's harsh, but it's just a certain reality to where, I mean, the Christian base, it's like either person would have to contort themselves in a way that could be perceived as uncomfortable to be able to coexist together, like in a more intimate space. I'm not saying that you can't coexist in a more broader sense, but in one's intimate space, it's quite difficult to be with someone that has those very dogmatic Christian beliefs, because they're just different. And it's just not, you guys don't, Christians and spiritualists do not live in a frequency related reality. And that is kind of what I want to talk about and say about that. And like I won't watch the whole thing. I'm not that bored in my life. But it's just what you would typically expect those from Abrahamic religions to say. And it's very, very insane because each Abrahamic religion, really every religion has a very esoteric form. So with the three Abrahamic religions are Christianity, Islam, and Judaism. So Judaism, um, I forget what their one is. Honestly, I can't remember off the top of my head what their esoteric form was, but they do have Gnosticism, right? No, that's Christianity. Yeah, I can't remember Judaism's, so I don't know what their esoteric form, but I know they have one. So in the esoteric form being what the religion was at conception, and then everything else we're kind of seeing being more of an additive. So I don't know Judaism's, but I know that Christians were originally Gnostics, very esoteric, and then Islamics were originally um, aligned with Sufism. And it's that one guy, I forget his name. I'll if I could remember, I'll insert it, but I probably won't. But he was very heavily influential on Sufism, and he did things called whirling dervishes, which is basically just spinning around, living your best life. But that circular pattern was meant to introduce a trance state, essentially. But yeah, that was that whole Jasmine Gardens thing. It's kind of funny to me. You never catch me. I don't want to say engaging with Christians, but it's just so different. I'm taking a sip of water now. Whenever I talk with you guys, I get so thirsty, and I'm kind of stuffy. It's weird. I was napping, and then I woke up a little bit stuffy, a little bit mucusy. That could possibly be what I ate today because I had some fried food, and all this food is fried in beef tallow. So I might go with beef tallow, but apparently it does not agree with my body. So that probably will be just more so of a treat. And it was a treat. I haven't had it in like a month or so, but maybe just spread out against in longer time frames. But yeah, so we talked about the 8-8 portal, Jasmine Gardens. I guess we can wrap this up. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Like I said, this is kind of just like off the cuff things I want to talk about, and it is very exciting to be back on YouTube because I took the longest break from it, and no regrets. No regrets for taking the break, but it was a little bit too long of a break, and I want to come back with more long form content. With about spiritual topics, things that I want to talk about. And yes, I guess if I can't think of anything, no. All right, so nothing. So that would be the things that we talk about. Just a welcome back. The 8-8 portal and how it doesn't really apply to me because it's transiting my eighth. The sun is transiting my eighth house, and this whole Jasmine Garden situation. And I just think it's ridiculous that. I mean, I'm not saying that she didn't hold her own, but it's ridiculous that this was someone's idea. And I guess we can also talk really quickly. The questions that were asked were just so Christian coded and so stupid to say it that way, but it's just like it was so. I guess because it came from the Christians. I'm not sure about the format of whatever show she was on, but it was just a typical nonsensical, non-logical, non-creative questions that Christians will ask. And I don't dislike Christians, by the way. Like I don't, but they just have a very like rigid, contained way of like conceptualizing reality, and it's frustrating for someone who is more creative and more like, do we really know anything about the nature of reality? Is the great mystery. A lot of traditional mystic schools teach that it is more so of a mystery, and Christians think that they have the code cracked, and I'm just like, I don't know. But anyways, I'm ending it here because I don't want to talk badly about any religion, and hopefully I remember to look up what the esoteric form of Judaism is. I know it. It's escaping me right now. So yeah, that will be all. I think it kind of almost popped in, but it popped back out. That will be all. Thank you so much for liking, commenting, and subscribing to my channel. And yeah, I will hopefully post again soon. Bless.